Hello! In this clip from our law firm website content for SEO webinar, we will discuss the content you may want to focus on for your practice area pages. We will also go through blog pages and other sections of your website that you should take into account when developing content. If you want to see more Justia videos on law practice and legal marketing, be sure to subscribe to our channel.
All right, I'm going through two more items here. Practice areas. This is your bread and butter. What I said about high quality original legal content, it's the generic items that apply. 500, 650 words. I like to use either my H1 tag, either the practice itself or location practice lawyer. So sometimes I might, Maryland car accident lawyer, sometimes I might say car accidents. Depends. This is something you could work through with your developer, your SEO folks. And then depending on what I did there, I'll either do practice, put location, practice to lawyer, and then the firm name. I like the firm names. Some people, they feel it's too long. I don't worry about being too long too much, unless it's like 250 characters, and I might cut it off. But for the most part, I don't mind. I like to add the firm name to my title text, but you don't have to. But I like practice, location, practice to lawyer. And then if I use the full words in my name on my page, then I'll repeat that in my title tag. And then I'll put a second one in location to practice to attorney. And then I'll put, again, I like the firm names at the end. And I like the domain.com. I like just the practice as the words in my URL for the page. Same thing. There's nothing new here. You want to especially get your keywords into the first couple of paragraphs. You use it as your H1 as your page name. Get in the first couple of paragraphs that way. I think your first few paragraphs should talk about why you're great. You might want to just start talking about the practice, but I would always put a sentence or two about why I'm great. Not everybody does that, but I would try to get some headings in there as well. They don't have to have keywords in it just for readability. I mean, if you're writing 500 words, you probably need a heading or two, as well as just the page name. It's a little bit monotonous otherwise. And again, use permutations of the words. Don't feel the need to use the exact same term all the time. Car accident, auto crash, Google see it the same. Don't worry about it. So this sort of the key. Practice areas are your bread and butter. Blog posts and other pages. Go pretty quick through this part. So these pages I'm not quite worried about as much. They don't tend to be for SEO. I'm not saying they don't sometimes rank, but they're not quite as big of a deal. You might have a testimonial page. You might have different blog posts. Sometimes they can be shorter if they're focused on a particular topic. No big deal. I wouldn't have a lot of short posts though. If I had like a bunch of really 100, 200 word posts on my blog, I might be a little bit concerned, especially if my blog was a subfolder blog, that the low quality content might actually impact my whole site. So I might watch out for that a little bit. But for the most part, you could write about your topic. You could do the same sort of SEO you do, figure out what your term is, work it into the name of your post, the name of your page, and then sort of work it into the text. There's nothing super fancy about it. One thing about blogs, if it's an internal blog, and you put it internally because you want to get links to your blog as another set of links, make sure your posts are good. One of the problems with internal blogs is that the people that tend to do it are doing it for SEO, not just for writing as an article section on their site, and they write really crappy blog posts. And I've seen many times where people said, hey, you got to take our external blog, bring it internally, and we bring it in, and the external blog had blog posts that were not good, and it ended up harming their entire website. So you got to be aware of that. So make sure your blog posts are high quality. The second thing you should be aware of is if you write blog posts, you've got to make sure that you're somehow dealing with the fact the laws change and blog posts tend to have dates on it. So I would encourage you to go through your blog and update it to say, hey, the laws have changed here. Go read this other page, or actually change it on the blog post itself and say last updated and change the date. Change the date of the post. Most of the time for blog posts, I do not like to put the dates into the URLs. Because that way I can change the dates later if I want to update the post. If you put the dates in URLs, it gets harder to change it, or at least the URL always looks like an old URL. And the last thing I mentioned about blogs, especially on internal blogs, is they do compete with your practice area pages. So you need to think that if you write a car accident page, even though a car accident page on your blog, those are issues that pop up.
This is the last clip from our law firm website content for SEO webinar. However, the journey doesn't end here, as you can take a look at our other SEO for law firms webinars clips, or even watch the full webinars. If you enjoyed this clip, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more law practice and legal marketing videos.